So today we are talking about just the best learning paths when you're trying to transition into tech. So we have online courses, boot camps, or college. What's the best route, or what are our thoughts when it comes to those options, right?
Right.
Because when we talk about making the transition into a career in tech, especially if you're coming from a non-tech background, um, that means you have to go through a season of knowledge transfer. You have to go through a phase of knowledge acquisition, right? Where you identify a field or a path, and then you go get the requisite knowledge before you can, start applying for jobs and all of that. So what's the best route? What's the best path? We're trying to give you our own perspective on each of these
Right.
different options. They have their pros, they have their cons, but we
Yeah.
want to um, explore each one of them. So online courses, boot camps, or go back to school, right? When is it a good idea to go back and get a degree?
Mm. I like metaphors and example, and I'm sorry, I had a very good example in my mind while you're speaking.
For it.
It's almost like you're trying to move from, trying to go from maybe from your house to maybe the grocery store, right? That's at least you know where your destination is. And I think we're going to talk about that. Like one of the things you have to be very before you even think about what training platform or what, which one you use, you have to know where your destination, where your career goals are, right?
Yeah.
But from your house to the grocery store, you can use any kind of transportation, right? You can use a car, you can use a bike, you can use a scooter, if you want to use a plane, if you want to use a train. But the thing that determines what you use, there's so many factors, like the kind of road it is, right? If the road is bumpy, maybe you don't want to use a scooter. So I think that just makes it come alive in my mind for anyone who's really not sure. I think that just makes sense where, well, I didn't think about it that deep. Well, maybe you have to think about it that deep because where you're going to is important, but even the path to that determines what platform you use. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe just still kind of honing on your illustration, right? You're going to use a scooter if the journey is not far. If the transformation required is not that much, then maybe that would be a scooter level
Right.
ride. If it's you're going to, maybe it's far, but it's not airplane far, right? So maybe you can
Right.
get in a ride, and so it's yeah. There's some level of, or there's a volume of acquisition that needs to be, but it's not something that you're not completely new to it, but you have a lot of learning to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they already have some tech, they're already doing some things, and
Exactly.
the transition for them is not that much, and so they don't need to do something as immersive as going for a
College
degree.
degree. Yeah.
While for some people, I know it, too. I'm very proficient
Right.
on my computer. I can get
Yeah.
around, but I'm not familiar with any of the specialized skills you need to go get a career in tech. And so
Yeah.
now you have to invest a bit more.
Yes.
Um, and then for the person who has never, I don't know, some people are to get a flight, get on plane because their journey is long, or maybe where they're going to is a bit more robust and complicated, their destination, and then they need to do a bit more. All right, so that was a good illustration. So let's look at just before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything. If you're online and you have questions, please use the chat feature on the Facebook on live chat. We'll see your comments. So you can ask the questions in the comments, and we will try to answer all of them as we proceed. All right. So speaking of the different learning paths, so we've kind of used illustrations to describe them. Which one is the scooter? Which one is the car? Which one is the plane? Or which one is the boat? Which one is the cruise? All right. So online courses, boot camps, traditional college and education. Let's start with online courses, right? Because everybody's an online course creator right now. There's so many online courses about pretty much everything.
But do you want to start with like the considerations for choosing the right path first? Like what are the things you should consider that we're doing the breakdown, right? So like the career goals, what your learning style is, what your budget constraints might be, your time constraints might be.
Well, I think if we start once we start piecing the all of the other ones down, we can get
All
into
right.
because we still have to talk about each one, right? So,
Absolutely.
so
Okay. So,
generally speaking, so considerations would be, along the lines of what career path are you trying to get into? Um, what career path are you trying to get into? So let's kind of bounce around some few career options. Your database administrator, for example, right? That's a destination, that's a career path. You want to become a scrum master, you want to become a cybersecurity expert, you want to get into data analysis, you want to become a network engineer. Those are different options for available to people trying to get into tech, right? Then you also now start having the more computing level, type options. Where you're doing assembly language. Well, assembly language is kind of older, but you're machine learning, artificial intelligence, you're doing some object-oriented programming or some other higher level programming language, you're doing operating system coding. There's a different level of immersion required for those ones. So step one is identification, basically. The part your destination of choice will determine the vehicle you use, like
right.
we kind of said.
Yeah, that's right. And your learning style too. Learning style is also important too, right? And the budget you have, the time constraints you have. So those things are factors you want to consider. But absolutely, we can go into each one of them. I think you wanted to start with online courses.
Yeah, so so online course. What's an online course? Generally speaking, maybe you go for it. What's an online course?
Oh, I should go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
A course you do online.
Okay, so every course done online is an online course. So pretty much everything is an online course at this point. Because
I've heard everything is. Even a bootcamp.
Everything is online.
Yep, even a bootcamp can be an online course. Even college education is an online course, right?
Yes.
So online. Well, they're not online courses. I think I knew where online course comes from. You think about maybe a really short course, like a course like.
I think beyond the length, because I don't think it's necessarily short courses. I think online course comes more from the independence of it. So somebody pre-creates a training with manuals and instructions.
Right, that's the way
you buy. So you're going at your basically taking, you're going, it's self-paced. It's on your time. It's on your time, it's prepackaged, maybe you have workbooks and all, but you don't necessarily have a faculty directing you or holding your hands.
Right.
They built that into a program that you buy.
Right.
So they can then, obviously there's different types of online courses, like you're describing the short, people call mini courses, the shorter types, the shorter ones. People have very comprehensive online courses that are hundreds of modules long. I signed up for one online course, and it's a whole collection of, you just choose your part inside the online course and then go learn, because you can't possibly consume. There were so many creators that built that institute, right? That built what they have into that institute and dream, but it's all at your pace, on your time. There's clear, workbooks and roadmaps and everything, but you're journeying by yourself through the, through the course. So that's kind of like online course. So what are some advantages of online courses?
Like I said, flexibility, right? Flexibility part of it, where the student has access to it, maybe for a period of time, sometimes forever. So that really helps, especially if the student is someone who's multitasking, like work, and the timing is new work for them. So I'll definitely say flexibility. Benefit for that. If that's something that's important to a student. What else? Again, taking it at your own pace. So I think the timing part of it too. So you don't feel rushed. You can always go back and maybe watch something again. and again.
And you can go back over. Yep, you can review. You can revisit certain things multiple times. Yeah, and it's those are just cool. I think the flexibility for sure is, I would say, the biggest benefits for online courses. A lot of people trying to make transition into tech, come from different kind. They're already working, they have families, they have jobs. And so being able to learn on your own time, going for a regularly structured class where you go sit down in class on a schedule, and not workouts because you're working during the day and you have family at night, you have kids. It's always a huge sacrifice, but when you have a prepackaged course or pre-built with all of the instructions and well thought out layout for the program to help you achieve the result you want, it's really neat. It makes it becomes a blessing, right, to have that flexibility where I can go get this learning and training, like, on my own time and still get all the value, right, that comes with it. So I think flexibility for sure, is a big benefit. And I think with online courses too, they tend to be not necessarily cheap, but I'll say cheaper than all the other forms we're exploring. Right. Because most course creators, for them, it's an asset that they can sell over and over again.
Yeah,
so
many.
Yeah, so as many people can have access to it, so they can charge it you can see high value courses that are like membership where you're paying monthly until you're tired of it, right? You cancel. Or one-time payments, they tend to be more affordable. Not necessarily, I mean, there's high ticket courses and but overall I think online courses tend to be a cheaper option than, say, bootcamps or
for education, 4 years.
Go back to school, yeah.
Okay.
So cost effectiveness is another benefit, that goes with that. And I think just that, having that, again, flexibility, costs, just having that control of your learning process, that's a huge advantage. What are some disadvantages? I guess everything has an advantage.
Well, I would say one thing for sure is, if you're going back to the learning style, right, directing which one you choose, you might want flexibility, but are you someone that also drives on accountability and support?
Yeah.
You get that with online courses. So that's why you find out how many people have bought so many Udemy courses or other courses, and they have not gone through module 1 yet.
True. I mean, case in points, our ABC of DBA course of database administration I have on Udemy and all, like, you literally go into the course and you see stats people have paid for, and then for 3 weeks, one month, they haven't, it's 0%, right? Then you see people start, you can see people that started with initial excitement, they watch a few modules, and then for like 3 weeks, no movement. So I think that's one of those.
And there might be legitimate reason, maybe something has happened, right? But I think that's also one of the disadvantages, Joe, is you don't have, it's because at your own pace, sometimes you feel like we have all the time.
Yeah.
No time at all. So
yeah, I think that accountability thing is a big deal, though. Like, even think about us, right? How many courses do we have that we've just proactively bought it, and then just kept?
I've not had time to go through it. Exactly.
Like, I'm going to get to this when I get to it, and then before 6 months have passed. So I guess before we judge the people who bought our own hardware, maybe we're reaping what we sowed. All those courses that are we're proactively learning in our mind, but not.
From the positive angle, right? It means that there was a need and we bought it. Same for the student, there was a need, they won't change their career and then they got it, right? And so, the goal is that, at a point in time, they do have everything falls in alignment for them, that they end up actually going through the course. Because transformation does not happen if you just buy it. It happens when you actually apply what you hear in the course, right? And that's always the end goal, not the purchase, but the transformation after.
So anyway, so that part, you're correct. It's not going to change. Nothing happens by buying the course. It's by actually sitting and learning and applying the things in there. So accountability could become a challenge. You need to be really disciplined, to maximize maximize an online course. Like you have to have your set times where you study and practice. You have to kind of think of it like you're actually doing the course, you're sitting through, a class in real life. So I think that's some disadvantages, is that lack of accountability, that self-paced, you can afford to put it off without consequence, per se, because you already paid for it. And so that could be a challenge. And a lot of courses don't have any kind of again, for most creators, they build it once, and then they can, what they typically do, a lot of people do with online courses, is they can put in updates, right? Maybe when there's new information that's applicable to, they can update the course, but there's not necessarily a place to go ask questions, right? If you're stuck at some point, or you might not have a forum for support, for asking questions, for getting clarifications. Like for the teacher, they've taught what they've taught. I've bought courses like that, short courses where they've taught what they've taught, and that's it. You've paid your money for the course, you've watched the video and agree with what they say, right? So I think that could be a disadvantage as well for, some course creators are not accessible post creating the course. That can be a disadvantage. And so, well,
about bootcamps.
Well, let's talk about like where people that want to go the online course route. There's a lot of platforms where they can, get some online courses. Like, can we talk about some of those?
Well, I guess it depends, because our course is also an online course. Is it?
Well, is it?
I feel like it's a hybrid, right?
Of course, it's way bigger. I was going to save our style for the end.
Okay.
Where our unique advantages.
Yeah. Online courses, of course, LinkedIn Learning.
Udemy. Udemy, Coursera, Udacity. There's a bunch of platforms like that. There's a lot of them. There's a new one every day. There's plural sites.
People are doing online courses and putting on their own platform.
Yeah.
Can be a part of a
career certificates. I do that. We don't want to mention the big ones, the general. A lot of you're correct. Individual creators are creating their own courses and hosting them on their own platform. So if you go online, and there's an online course for pretty much anything now. You want to learn how to create videos, edit videos. You don't have to go to Udemy. You just need to search, and somebody has created a course for it. You want to learn how to cook certain foods, or there's online courses for it. Heck, there's online courses for how to date and things like that. So
yes.
Explore whatever you want to learn. There's an online course for it. Just if you're patient enough, you will find the course of your dreams. So that's that one. So Femi is actually just laughing like we're doing comedy for him. All right, so let's talk about bootcamps. So what is a bootcamp?
Well, I think with bootcamp, just the name says, right, it has that intensity part of it, right? Timeline might be shorter, and so much information coming at you, like almost like speed, right? So that's one thing for sure, is is intense, very focused learning.
Yep.
I don't even think they're even like, not all of them, so I'm not generalizing, but like even support too for boot camps. I'm not sure I'm sure some bootcamps do have that support, but I don't know if it's known for that. But yes, even just the name bootcamp, like it's focused, intense, people that want the results as quickly as possible and are ready to do the work.
Yeah, so I think bootcamp, like you said, it's the intensity. It just brings back the gym, CrossFit, all the gym exercise, bootcamp, hits, workouts, lose weight in 6 weeks type program. It's compact, it's very
precise,
very focused, very precise objective with a bootcamp. So you're trying to get into a particular career path, 4 weeks bootcamp, you're sitting, it's mostly instructor led, live. I think that's a key separator. So online courses, not instructor-led, it's pre-recorded, you buy and then you use. So with boot camps, you're dealing with live cohorts, live classes, and so you get, but it's intensive, it's, projects, assignments, focused learning. You get the benefit of asking questions, because there's a real human being in front of you, whether virtual or if you're in person. 2023, it's very few people doing, physical boot camps now.
Well, with the COVID and everything isn't off now, I think some people are starting to do these things. I guess physically, it's kind of like sometimes hard to generalize because
Well, I guess it's generally speaking, but yeah. So that's the bootcamp style. There's so many of them too. A lot of institutions, have adopted the bootcamp approach for, very customized niche career paths, right? That's you'll see, for things around like all these coding programs or network engineering, certification courses. They tend to be bootcamp style, where you go spend a few weeks, get trial by fire, learn something, and start applying it quickly. So that's bootcamp. What would you think would be the criteria for choosing, a place to learn, a bootcamp to go to for career training?
I think the results those bootcamps have been able to get, because it's very precise, very focused. Because first of all, you have to know what result you are trying to get, so that will lead to identify the kind of bootcamp that you want to get to.
Yeah, I think results really is your objective will determine which of these parts you want to do, that bootcamp or online course. But the results that the bootcamp has gotten, right, like seeing their track record of success, is highly important. So what kind of reviews do they have?
Well, sorry to cut you off. It reminds me of the fitness bootcamp, right, where you get the results so quickly, but then it's hard to be sustained, right? So I wonder if you want to say, looking at the result, but also looking at the result even after.
Well, I mean, I guess you want to do like what is this? There's this show they have where like, where are they now? Or the people that I think
Oh
was.
yes, I remember. I remember.
Like, where are they now? It's not like they. Well, but you can't hold the institution accountable for human behavior over time, right? They delivered on their promise. Eventually, you're going in, like I'm going to do a weight loss program, for example. They promised me, hey, we're going to show you how to 40 pounds in 5 weeks, right? And I do what they say and I get the results, right? Whether it's sustainable or not, at that point did they deliver on their promise? If the answer is yes, they did their part, right? It is now on me to maybe go find out from them, okay, can I pay you more money to learn how to keep this up, right? Or adapt some discipline, in my lifestyle to
keep it up.
To keep it off, right? So what happens with a lot of boot camps, and this is why we see, again, even for us with our programs, you see people drop off, people who are like, at a high during class, and then after class, it's almost like, come on, whatever happened to this guy? The energy just dropped and they don't seem to be that eager anymore. And it's when you're taken out of that environment, when you're taken out of that system, it's almost like all of those parameters that were put in place to help you be successful. Once they're taken away from you, if you don't implement yours, it's almost like you will revert back to your old habits.
Yep, that's right.
Or your old ways of life and your old things. Like your busy schedule did not change, while you were doing the bootcamp. You just had a lot of parameters in place to help you become successful. And that's why it's important that's why for me, I feel like it will be unfair to the bootcamp institution.
Because they did what they said they were going to do, right?
And they delivered on their promise. So looking at least a good way to, do these people have a track record of helping people who come to them? Are they delivering on their promise? that's a good thing to look for, like when deciding what institution you want to select, where you want to learn, is what's their track record? Is that verifiable? That'll be one. Another criteria maybe like costs,
Yes, so I think that should, of course, bootcamp, because it's very precise. They expect a
Yeah.
particular kind of result. So sometimes the cost is definitely probably going to be higher than the online course.
Yes, because you're paying for a real life person. You're
Yes,
paying for all of the infrastructure they're going to provide you to be successful. So beyond just
at a limited period of time.
yeah, for that period. So beyond the information and knowledge you're getting, you're also paying for accountability. You're paying for community, your colleagues, your classmates, your peers that you'll be in the same program with. You're paying for whatever resources they are making available to you to help you be successful. So cost is something to definitely consider.
Yep, that's right.
When you're trying to pick a bootcamp. And it's always good to, some people charge based on their brand, and some people charge based on their results, right? There are big names that just charge because they are big names. It's not necessarily, they charge Mercedes price because they built a brand to that level. So in the end, you have to look at the value, what are you willing to pay when it comes to where you want to go learn. So price is a consideration
That's right.
to have. I have one more. I don't know if you had any other
No, I
things.
think that was good for me.
Yeah, I think you need to look at who the faculty is.
Okay.
In addition to looking at their track record and everything, who precisely is over that particular course or that program you're going into, right? A lot of companies that all do bootcamps, you would see the information for their trainers, right? Do they have the results they are promising to deliver, right? So that's the difference between getting just pure academic knowledge and
Real life experience.
real world knowledge. So I think it's important to do some, I guess, some background check, on the faculty. Have they done what they're teaching? Not necessarily whether they've learned, they are skilled, whether they've, have the requisite degrees or certifications, but have they done it? Because the goal, at least for the context of our conversation, is transitioning into tech. All right, so I think that's a good another consideration I would recommend would be.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
What would be some disadvantages for bootcamps?
Maybe, of course, if the results is not gotten at the end, if the way the bootcamp is done isn't in alignment with the person's learning style sometimes.
Yes.
If the person realizes that, well, I should have taken a course, not a bootcamp, of course, it's so that there's such a lot of information all at once and they're able to digest it. Or another thing could even be they're just learning on the surface, they're not really learning in detail.
Yeah.
So there are so many that's why I think what we're doing now is very important. So everyone listening can really understand, well, what am I trying to get to?
Yeah.
The cons of both of them.
Yeah, I think that's the first point you raise is so important, right? The people learn differently. When you go in this bootcamp, it's classroom style. So you're in a group, if it's a large group, let's say it's 10 people, 10, 15 people in a cohort. The faculty is taking one approach. Not everybody has that patience, has that
right.
Even people that are patient, faculty members that are patient and skilled. It's still 6 weeks that we have to cover all of our content. I have things I have to cover every time we meet. And so coming down to your level, and most of the time people are at different levels in their knowledge, in their experience, in their expertise. And so you see people might not be served the way they feel they should be. The pace might not be the ideal for a learner. And so they go through this crisis, I guess, where they they are sitting through the class, but they are not benefiting from the experience. Even though some other people have been transformed by the exact same content and knowledge, somebody is saying this is not my style, this doesn't work for me. So learning styles might not be compatible. So that's a a potential disadvantage. Some people just have this imposter syndrome, right? Where they don't realize it's new to most people in the class anyway. Some people are just talkative, and so some people just look like everybody, because everybody's engaging in conversation, they start telling themselves that they are the dumbest ones in the class and they don't know anything. Which is wrong, which is honestly inaccurate. I promise you. Some people just know how to talk and are winging it. And what you'd be surprised, for anybody taking a class or a boot camp, is the question you are free to ask is 3, 4, 5 other people's question, and that they are also scared to ask. So don't shrink in this. You're there to get to learn, and nobody will help if you don't raise your voice. Nobody is going to assume you need help. Not everybody is going to have the discernment to know, okay, this person doesn't look like they're following, especially in the era of virtual classes. Right, I might not be seeing your face to realize, okay, you look like you're lost. So that's something that anybody taking a bootcamp program should keep in mind. So let's talk college.
Right. I mean, most people have experienced that, but not everybody I understand. Longer, well, it's not that long. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like in between, right? More in-depth knowledge from the beginning, the middle, the fundamentals, right? Larger class, larger group, so opportunities for networking, which I think the other ones, you kind of like still have, like the bootcamp, you can still have opportunities for networking. But in college, you definitely have more people to do that with, right? Also, I think it's also expensive. Of course, it's expensive.
Yeah, more definitely.
I have more choices for courses too there, which is good. Get a degree. You can, all of that good stuff. You can put that on your resume. Some people don't put it on like on their resume, but hey, with a degree, you can put that on your resume, right? So there are quite a lot of, there are pluses for college.
Yeah, I think and it's important to speak up for college. Whether it's going back to get a master's, an advanced degree, or a bachelor's. Because there's a lot of voices speaking up against you don't necessarily need to go to school anymore.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that too. Like, even I think some of like the Harvard, not Harvard, like some of these major companies, tech companies too, don't really require a degree from a college, right?
Yes.
Anymore, because experience is important. But I truly believe that education is still important.
So, and I think the way I was going is the college experience is comprehensive. It's beyond just the classroom and what you get. Especially for the younger generation trying to get into a career path, right? People who have gone through the standard educational system, and it's built you to go to college. Can you skip college and go be successful? Yes. But there's a lot of we, as much as there's opportunities to go and do this without going to get a college degree. I'll still say any young person, any kid who has a chance to go to college should still go, because at certain levels, there are certain doors, there are certain spaces where these things become considerations. There are certain fields where you can't online course get the experience or get the expertise you need. And so how much your education now becomes a factor. There are certain spaces where just your degree gives you credibility in a sense. So figuring out again what paths you're trying to go, those more intricate. And again, the networking in college it's a bit more holistic, because you're actually building pure relationships. It's not just networking. But now you're
seeing them for a longer period of time, right?
Yeah, you get to do 4 years with somebody, through multiple classes and programs, and so it's more significant relationships being formed. And life is about relationships, man. There are certain doors that
I agree.
it's just other human beings that will open them for you. You know, instead of just your effort and hard work. So I think the college has its place. College experience or going back to get the masters, those have their place. You know, and especially when you're looking to down the road too, like people that get into more like say leadership, into you know tech leadership, you need a broader perspective, not like if you're a technical person where you need a very focused
Oh,
perspective.
yes, yes, yes. You
You
have
know,
to
so
work with
those ones
other
can get with
purposes.
bootcamp. Yeah. But when you start leading teams and organizations, and you need to have a wider perspective because you're speaking to multiple groups and not a specialized group, it helps to, you know, have experienced a bit of all of these things, and that's what college does for you a lot of the time, where you took classes you took, you know, computer science classes, you took programming classes, you took classes for algorithms, you took classes for AI. So now you're leading an organization and there's pockets of all of these things everywhere.
In there.
You can effectively understand what they are doing, what they are saying, even if you're not an expert in any of those spaces.
Yeah.
All right, so that's college. So we've explored online courses, we've explored boot camps, we've explored college. You know, so now let's look at, you know, just some of the hybrid approaches, right? And I'm going with more, and I think this is where what we do comes in. We're almost a hybrid of online course plus bootcamp stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
so education plus degree because of some elements of that is part of our course too.
Yes. So we've done, typically we fell under the bootcamp program for the most part, you know, because we cohort-based style and all. But one thing we've done, you know, better than most is extended support, both during the classes and post the trainings. You know, during trainings, we have outside of class, you know, apart from patiently managing people one after the other, trying to carry people along. You know, like in our DB Accelerator course, for example, we have a dedicated resource whose job is to do one-on-one sessions with people based on, you know, their issues. So we're meeting you where you are and trying to serve them at that level. That's a unique approach because we're literally even bringing in one-on-one course, you know, one-on-one coaching into
even the group coaching too, even them part of being the mighty networks.
Yeah.
That's also there too.
Yeah, so that's that building community into plus the bootcamp style plus now we have, you know, with our DB Accelerator program, there's an online course component to it, so you can move at your pace some, but there's still the in-person, you know, live class component where you're still getting that, you know, instructor-led, those instructor-led sessions, and you're getting one-on-one support, and you're getting, you know, additional support post the training. So that's a unique experience that not everybody offers, that we offer. And I think that's next level because now we've eliminated most of your
the cons.
Yeah, the cons and things that, you know, will make people not succeed with, you know, in programs, in boot camps or online courses. And that's I think that's, you know, that's why we refer to ourselves as career training. So we're not boot camp, we're not online course. We are career training
institution, career training company.
Our, you know, career center training, just get you to a place where you go on and become successful in your career. That's our focus. That's the goal. So that's that hybrid, you know, that combo approach. We've looked at some of the challenges and considerations. So what are the, I guess maybe to just kind of start bringing it together, what are things people need to be thinking about, right? When should I decide if I'm going to go back to school versus what should be key considerations? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's kind of spell it out as we conclude.
If they want to go back to school, if they want to get
Yes, because we've had people who we've dealt with all of these scenarios, right? Where I think you even had a post up, right? Somebody told you they wanted to go back to school because they wanted to get into IT.
Yeah, I hear the weirdest of things sometimes.
And for you, so it's, when do I say yes to that versus when do I say you don't have to do that?
Well, I think we cover some of that, right? Especially with understand what your career goals are, right? If you want to get a bachelor's degree, a master's, a PhD, if you want to be someone who maybe wants to get an MSc in cyber security, sure, go for a BSc in that space too, right? If you're someone who wants to go through a 4 walls of an institution, or because now most of some colleges now are also online, right?
Yeah.
You want from the foundation up onto that. Absolutely. You want the networking, go for that. You want to piece it out, you want a degree, absolutely go for that, right? So I don't think there's any wrong or right. I think it all falls down to what are you trying to achieve, right? Most of our students, most of people that that we have the opportunity to coach and mentor in their careers, some of them don't have the time. They don't have the flexibility to do a whole 4-year degree, right? They don't, the funds might not be, I mean, even if they have the funds, probably not for a 4-year degree. In 4 years, they want to already be situated in a high income and high in demand and high valuable career and be promoted and be building their career there, right? So their needs are different from someone who perhaps moved here and tried to acclimatize and feel like education is one of the ways to do that. So
yeah, I think that's important too. Like, what are you trying to do? I think that's a question that if you're just trying to get a job, I'm trying to get into IT, get an IT job. If that's the goal, get a job, make money, start getting IT pay, get the flexibility that comes with working in tech, work from home. If that's the goal, you don't need to go get a degree, right? A bootcamp and even some properly done online courses, I won't go so not trying to throw shade, like course, online course platforms like Udemy, LinkedIn Learning for tech courses. They are good, but I feel like what you will learn will be more introductory. So I prefer Udemy and the rest of them for, I think I'm digressing a bit. I prefer Udemy and LinkedIn Learning and the rest of them for more.
Because you never know who's going to sponsor our podcast, by the way.
Say that again.
Because you never know who's going to sponsor us at the end of the day. So in the future.
Yeah, so I'm not criticizing this. I'm just trying to say what they're best for. And for those guys, right, those big wholesale online course platforms, I feel like they're best suited for, you have specific things you want to learn within your niche. So I want to learn a particular thing within database administration. That's where it served me the most. Right, I wanted to learn high availability, so I went and I bought the Udemy course specific to HA.
Yeah, something specific.
It drilled down on that, and I got all of the. I didn't want to start scrolling through YouTube and looking for, get good information, bad information. Just look for a highly reviewed one on Udemy and pay for it. So those niche, but if I'm trying to get in brand new, I will lean more towards bootcamp, because I'm dealing with, I have expert guidance, I have questions, I have opportunity to ask questions of somebody who is already faculty. So if you're looking to get a job, that's the part if I'm trying to get introduced to concepts or maybe learn specific things, online course, get a job, get mentorship, get community, bootcamp. Then for college and all, then that means I have a clearly defined career path that I want to explore, then that I'll go with college. Or maybe I'm not sure, right? Maybe I have time on my side, I have the funds. So for, again, young person, 16 years old, finished high school, graduated high school, where there's no emergency to go save a family or pay school fees or anything. So you have some time, you're trying to figure out where your career is, and you don't have enough life experience to have that clarity. Then college is great, right? Because you get to be in different classes, explore different fields, make meaningful connections, or maybe you have aspirations to do specific. You've gone through, you've gained some experience, and you figured out, I want to get into more leadership. I want to do more stuff around very broader areas, you know, and I have the flexibility then to go back to college, and I'll do it. And if your company will pay for it, some companies offer tuition reimbursement, you know, as part of their benefits. If you're in that situation, please go get school for free. Like, let the company pay for it. But if it's just to get a job, get a career started, 4 years of school is a long time. You can go from entry level to senior level in 4 years of, you know, in the most tech career paths. So, so that's my take on that.
Yep, I agree.
What words of advice do you have for our career changes?
For career changes, I definitely say staying focused is very important, you know, and know the difference between when you're either giving up easily and maybe something is not working for you, right? Because sometimes you might be doing a course like, oh, I want the result right now, but sometimes the results don't come right now, especially if you're not doing the work or you're not paying attention in class. And now sometimes people just want, oh, I've come to the boot camp 3 days, 4 days, I want it right now. But there's always a process, regardless of the education pathway you take. There's always a process, and that process involves you doing the work. It doesn't, no matter how amazing a coach is, if the coachee, person who's being coached, doesn't do the work, there's going to be no transformation. There'll be no change. Regardless of what path you take, the question is, you have to be committed to showing up, doing the work, and be accountable and responsible for your career goals.
Yep, you have to be accountable. That is totally accurate. And I'll say this, right? It's I'll use the Bible verse. The Bible says, "Buy the truth and sell it not." If you want to get knowledge, it will cost you. It's going to, valuable knowledge is going to cost you value. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. You know, weigh the cost and then make the investment. That's one. But go for, don't stop yourself, right? Go for knowledge, go for learning. The information you need to transform your life is out there, either in an online course, in a boot camp. Make it happen, right? Yeah. You're looking to get into tech. This is like the era we are in right now for, you know, especially in North America. Let me use North America, even though it's a global phenomenon, but let's speak to North America because that's where we are. There's so many opportunities now. It's such a wide playing field, and the knowledge economy is booming, right? That means you can learn, you know, you can find a way to learn. You can start. You don't, even if, like, I know we've given criteria for choosing boot camps or college or this, right? Maybe boot camp is out of reach for you. For something we say, go get a boot camp. Start with online course, right? Yep. Start with free resources on YouTube, right? But don't
start with things like this as well.
Come and sit down and listen to us for free and get information, and go to join the group and watch free resources that we put out all the time, right? But there's so much information available for free and for really cheap. Those are good places to start. And as you start making some strides, you know, start planning to invest in your growth. But this is the best era to live in terms of, you can learn from anywhere, you can learn from anyone. There are Harvard courses that are available online for free, MIT courses that are available, you know, online, like, you know, just those are good foundational things to get you started and, you know, start the transformation for you. So wherever you are, whatever phase you are, throw out all of the excuses and just start. And start the transformation. And all of us here at N-Star Technologies, we're rooting for you.
Yep, absolutely are.
Love myself. We can't wait to hear your transformation. So go for it. We believe in you.
Yeah, absolutely rooting for you. I mean, and again, we always say there's any topic or any question you want us to get answered, feel free to, you know, share that with us, so that we can also answer this as well.
Yep. Also answer specifically your questions. And if you are considering a career in database administration or Scrum, we have more things coming for you guys in the next in next week, next couple of weeks coming, new things are coming. But we also have a database workshop next week, Friday. Hopefully we don't change the schedule. We're considering moving this from Fridays to Mondays. So just look out for that announcement if that does happen. But we do have a database workshop. So if you're interested in a career in database administration, or you know someone who is, let them know that we are doing something. Let's get you rolling on this new career path.